Ever wonder how a bunch of colonies took on the mightiest empire on Earth and won? Let's dive into the incredible story of the American Revolution and the birth of the United States. It all started back in the 1760s after winning the expensive 7 Years' War. Also known as the French and Indian War, Great Britain was deep in debt. To raise money, they decided to tax their American colonies. First came the Sugar Act, then the Stamp Act, and the Townshend Acts. The colonists were furious. They had no representatives in the British Parliament, so they felt these taxes were unfair. Their rallying cry became no taxation without representation. Tensions kept rising. In 1770, a confrontation between British soldiers and colonists in Boston led to the Boston Massacre. 3 years later, in protest of the Tea Act, a group of colonists disguised as Native Americans dumped an entire shipment of tea into Boston Harbor. This event, known as the Boston Tea Party, was a major turning point. Britain's response was harsh. They passed a series of laws the colonists called the Intolerable Acts, which included closing Boston Harbor and giving more power to the British governor. This just united the colonies even more. In 1774, representatives from 12 of the 13 colonies met in Philadelphia for the First Continental Congress to decide what to do next. The point of no return came on April 19, 1775. British troops marched to Lexington and Concord, Massachusetts, to seize colonial weapons. They were met by local Minutemen, and the shot heard round the world was fired. The American Revolutionary War had begun. The Second Continental Congress convened and appointed George Washington as the commander-in-chief of the newly formed Continental Army. The early days were tough. The army was a ragtag group of farmers and merchants, poorly equipped and trained, facing the most powerful military in the world. But the colonists had something powerful on their side, an idea. On July 4, 1776, the Congress adopted the Declaration of Independence, written primarily by Thomas Jefferson. It declared that the 13 colonies were now independent states, no longer under British rule. It laid out the revolutionary idea that all men are created equal with certain unalienable rights, including life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. The war raged on for years, with key battles that shaped its course. The surprise attack on Trenton in 1776 gave the Continental Army a much-needed morale boost. The Battle of Saratoga in 1777 was a huge turning point. This American victory convinced France to officially join the war as an ally, providing crucial military and financial support. Spain and the Netherlands followed, turning the conflict into a global war that stretched Britain's resources thin. Despite the hardships, including a brutal winter at Valley Forge, where soldiers suffered from cold, hunger, and disease, Washington's leadership kept the army together. His resilience and strategic thinking were essential to the American cause. Finally, in 1781, the war reached its climax at the Battle of Yorktown. A combined force of American and French troops, led by Washington and French General Rochambeau, trapped a large British army commanded by Lord Cornwallis in Virginia. The French Navy blocked any escape by sea. With no hope of rescue, Cornwallis surrendered on October 19, 1781, effectively ending the major fighting of the war. 2 years later, in 1783, the Treaty of Paris was signed. Great Britain officially recognized the independence of the United States. The war was over. A new nation was born, founded on the principles of liberty and self-governance. The American Revolution didn't just create a new country. It inspired movements for independence and democracy around the world. It was a bold experiment that continues to shape our world today. Thanks for watching. If you found this story inspiring, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into history. See you next time.